Welcome to A Little Help Podcast, where understanding life cycles can lead to bigger and better changes. Today, we're going to talk about first love heartbreak.
Was that my cue?
That was your cue.
Why did you have to be a heartbreaker?
Oh, okay, stop.
Well, we did songs last week. Or last episode, so.
Yeah, but you should have went, heartbreaker, you got the best of me.
I don't know those words as well.
Okay.
Okay, as you see, we got Mignon and we have Mike on audio today.
The mysterious voice that just lingers.
Oh. So first love heartbreaks. Did you all ever experience first love heartbreaks?
No. I don't think I've ever had a real first love, and I damn sure I ain't experienced no heartbreak.
It's a good question. I mean, I don't really feel like I did.
Mm-mm.
I had, because I was never really in love.
See?
That was my thing. Yeah.
Not just me.
So what was y'all? You all never experienced puppy love?
Nah.
Not to a point that I missed it when it was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe again. I just got a big heart.
Oh,
I mean, so do I, but there's a difference between loving someone and being in love with someone.
Mhm.
And I think that I can say there are a lot of people that I loved as humans, like love with the love of God. But to be in love, no.
Mhm.
To be in lust, heck yeah.
well, that's a totally different animal, literally.
Because I was kind of confused when you said love, like the love of God. Because I'm
like you love everybody.
Oh, I see
Yeah, I
what you're
just
saying.
love everybody with the love of God.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about that.
I don't
agape
necessarily
love. I'm like,
have-
whoa. Let's back that up.
No, it's like I don't necessarily like. Let's say I don't
I
necessarily
love you because
care
I'm
for
supposed to,
Right. Right.
love people.
Mhm.
Okay.
Like when coworkers be like, you love me. Well, I love you with the love of God.
And that's it.
Don't take it too far.
She just evil.
I'm not. I'm real.
She's honest. We're both honest. But so I'm assuming that means you have had.
I did. Actually, it was a guy on the swim team.
Well, I can see why you would be heartbroken over that.
Right? Imagine the body on this person.
That's what I'm thinking.
Hello.
Say what?
It must have been gorgeous.
Yeah. Could you imagine somebody on the swim team getting up out the water, just glistening,
Oh
just
my
fine
God!
as
You
hell?
all are in the TV la la land. I never even thought about it like that. You don't think about it like that when you're swimming.
That's what I'm
But
talking
if you-
about. Love
but-
or lust.
If you had a crush, then what was the crush?
I mean, it wasn't
There was no
because,
physical?
oh, he's getting out of the water. Look at his body glistening.
Shh. That's what would have caught my eye.
Right? Because I believe one of the qualifications to be a swimmer are abs.
Period.
Oh, we had bodies.
Yeah, well, exactly. So
We all had bodies.
I see where Mignon's
Absolutely.
Mignon's
Okay,
going.
but as a swimmer, you just
Okay, girl, tell us
So
about
who?
your heartbreak.
Yeah, tell us about who.
your mind ain't even going up. Your mind ain't even going there.
Who was he?
But we don't name names.
What do you need?
Well, tell us about him.
Tell him.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we started dating, and we dated for a while, good little while, and everything. And
Who pursued who?
as far as who wanted,
Like who made the first move? Was it him asking
y'all
you
wanna
out?
ask me something? You realize how old I am? You remember all of that? But I'm sure we
Back
had a
in Moses
mutual
days.
caring for each other,
Yeah.
and we just started being around each other, hanging around each other, talking, and one thing, it's like, oh hey, we started dating.
Okay.
Okay.
So it was all good and everything. We're going to the swim meets and you sit by each other.
Oh, my
Or
God.
look after a meet, we won the meet, so we going down. We at West Side, we going down to serve somewhere. We could go cut this corner and give a little smooch, and then we gone home. Like
I'm telling.
the puppy love. Yeah, you do the little puppy love.
She remembers that. Doesn't remember anything else.
Right.
So anyway,
We just saying.
while dating, everything was great. Everything was fine. Of course, swim practice is swim practice. You ain't thinking about swim practice, because you all in your own lanes,
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool. So it wasn't so much of when you was in the water, you were swimming, you were racing, you were, but, let's say that, you're waiting on your meet, you waiting on your turn to, go up and, so, everybody's sitting around. So, you got that closeness. You sitting there, you sitting around,
You go pat him on the butt for good luck.
No. We didn't do that.
Go get him. Whack.
We didn't do like the coaches hit you up. No, we didn't.
Oh, now if a coach did it, we got a problem.
Right.
Well, the coaches on the basketball team,
Yeah, it's a problem.
Well, hey, we got swatted.
That's not the same.
With the paddle, with
That's
the hose
not the same.
in wetsuits.
Not the same.
Everything was fine, even, when we were in school, lunchtime, sit at the lunch table, you're dating, it was all great.
So did he come to your locker and walk
we
you to
would see each other at
class?
the locker or whatever.
Carry your books. No? Oh.
He had classes to go to. I had classes to go to. He was older than me. He was older than me, a year older than me, so. But it was great. But, it ended up, getting to the point where, we don't, like I told you before in the last episode, it's like, okay, I went to school. I did enough, I got my diploma. I passed. Okay. He was one of the AB students, he was on the honor roll and everything. So eventually, I found out, because we ended up, breaking up. Mm-hmm. And it's funny how your parents know stuff. I'm like, because, my mom was a coach, assistant coach. Mm-hmm. So she was around his parents, the other parents, a lot of the AAU parents and stuff, So, of course, his parents were, around. But I got that breakup. He broke up with me.
Oh,
how you do it?
Yeah, what did he say?
We were on the phone. I remember that. We were on the phone. And I don't exactly remember the conversation or anything, but I know he was saying that he was, ready to, break up. Da, da, da. I mean,
Did you know it was coming or was it?
No.
Oh, okay. So it's total surprise.
Total surprise.
Okay.
I was crushed. I'm like, I was that I can't breathe, crushed.
Knocked the air right out of you.
Right out of me.
Wow.
First time ever, we would hang out, we would go out, double date with my brother and his girl. We just did a lot of things together, And when that happened, it was like, but later on, my mom comes and she was like, yeah, the mom was like, I wasn't the type of girl that made the grades to go to the Xenos ball. You got to be the honor student to wear the big gowns and the big dresses to go to Xeno balls.
So it was his parents.
The cotillions and, and I think they were, from what I hear, they were talking to him, parents. The Jack and Jill, talking to him. And you need to, start dating, other girls, she's, her grades are this, her grades are that, So I do believe that had a lot to do with our breakup.
So that wasn't necessarily his choice. It might have been.
His parents were some haters.
Yeah, his parents were the ones who said she's not good enough.
what do you what can you say? What can he chose to listen, to them and move forward, So that was that, But yeah, I was crushed. But as I was saying, it was funny how my mama know.
Them parents be knowing.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, they're always, I think, when two kids, I'll just say, are dating, there's rules they want to establish and know and make sure that things are on the up and up. So I'm sure they talk to each other enough that other conversations come up that you never know about. Well, what does she do for extracurricular activities? Or what does she, what kind of jobs do her parents have? That kind of stuff, so, and then they judge.
And it's so funny because I saw her later on, I delivered mail. So,
his mother?
I saw his mom. I delivered it.
Punch her enough? No? You ain't rock her shit? I'm just
so I saw her. I was delivering mail over at Walgreens on the corner. Walgreens always on the corner. Happy, healthy. Yeah.
This episode brought to you by
Lord.
Walgreens.
They are not paying us.
No.
So,
But anyway, so what's up?
so his mother actually came up to me and said, "You know, you were supposed to be my daughter-in-law."
Girl, shut your...
What?
I want to say,
Bitch.
you did. Thank you. I said, okay.
Like that.
Okay, you know what? Have a good,
Yeah.
have a good day.
Oh.
And we all went to the same church.
Ooh.
Mm.
That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, that is a little uncomfortable.
I was like, okay. I don't even think I was going at that time, so it was all right.
Oh. Okay.
But I was crushed.
After he broke up, did you two ever have a conversation about what really happened?
No.
Have you ever seen him again?
No.
I was about to say, do we even look the same? Like, is he still...
Yeah, maybe you got saved.
Right.
When delivery mail, I saw his sister was working at the church, and she had pulled up pictures, and I was like, oh, okay, here's him, his kids, I'm like, okay,
I mean, he could have went from swimsuit body to Carl Winslow, so you
Right?
know.
But that's your start. That's your start of relationships, and your first heartbreak, and then you wait some time. You it took a while to get over that heartbreak, but I did start dating again. I was working at Ponderosa.
Oh hell,
and met someone and started dating. But you know what?
Mike, it's a lot of Ponderosa stories.
I've noticed that.
This is crazy because this is something I had never heard. I'm dating, and I never thought, here I am dating this person, and now I'm sitting up here battling it was a battle between me and the boss. I'm like,
Wait, what? In what way?
she was liking him. The older woman, boss.
You saying older like she was much older.
She was way older than us.
Old enough to be a difference, to make it significant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She was a cougar, is what you're saying.
She was a cougar.
Wow.
She was a cougar. So here I'm experiencing something that I'm like, what is this? What?
Who won?
We ended up just breaking up. I was like, it took a while. It took a lot of back and forth. And that's the thing, what would I say to my younger self then, as me now?
Spill coffee on him.
Or her.
Oh, yeah.
First of
Either
all,
one.
I would have told me, look, you don't chase after nobody. If he sees something else he won't, let him go.
Totally agree with that.
Let him go. But being young and dumb, not experienced, with relationships, you're doing the back and forth, and it's like, what? What? Even, back to, the parents interfering in relationships.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Do you feel there were ever... Well, I didn't really talk to you about relationships all that much, but do you feel that I was ever in a relationship that you needed to interfere in?
No, because you didn't talk to me about your relationships.
She knew better.
She did not come to me and talk to. She must have talked to her friends and stuff, but she didn't come to me to talk to me about her relationship.
But did you ever ask?
For what? I might have not even known she was in a relationship.
Oh, well, there you go. Did you hide your relationships from your mom?
I probably know.
I would not say that I hid them, but like they probably didn't last long enough for me to even mention it.
Okay.
Like, I was one of those people where it's like, I see where you're going. I'm good.
Let me ask an interesting question of both of you if we're talking about heartbreak. So let me ask you, what is your ideal guy?
A man of God, first and foremost.
Of course. I would expect.
What do you want to know? Personality wise?
Yeah,
physique wise?
What do they like? What do they, enjoy eating? What do they enjoy doing that makes you go, I want to be a part of that? And I have a point to this in a second.
I would say,
We got this fly in the studio that will not leave.
it's a little very small net. It's driving me crazy. No, I would say that we have to have mutual interests. Usually when I start liking a guy, it has something to do with his music taste. That's really important to me.
I can see that.
Gotta have a good sense of humor.
Sure.
Enjoy going out, hanging out. And I'm not saying like every time we go out, it's gotta be like we're spending all of this money and stuff. It's more so like, can we have fun together?
Right.
Doing something basic.
Go bowling is something simple.
Yes.
Yeah,
I love bowling, actually.
Okay. So do I. We should go.
Skating.
Okay.
Love skating. Like, can you get in tune with your inner child? That's important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want someone that's always going to be like really serious, really matter of fact. There's a time for that.
Right.
And I feel like in our relationship, I want to have fun.
So like you, but similar only in some ways, not like you don't want a carbon copy of yourself.
Oh, absolutely not. I know me. Hell
Okay.
no.
Okay. So then, April,
I would hell no that.
same question. Describe your ideal.
A lot of what she's saying is what I'm looking for in a partner.
Okay.
First, of course, always, first of all, God-fearing, because you got to be a God-fearing man to be able to, they say, you got to fear God, you got to love God to can be able to honor me, or who do I have to? If you got to look up to God, I got to look up to you.
Right.
Yeah, lead me.
To follow, to lead me, that is so important to me, because you got that type of man.
So assuming he's got all that.
He's got all that. I do love to laugh. I do. I don't want a man that's so uptight. I like a man that knows how to communicate his feelings.
Ooh, that's important.
That's huge. A lot of people don't like to.
Intelligence, ladies.
Emotional intelligence. You have to know how to communicate. When you get upset or you get angry, you just shut down. No.
Yeah,
no.
that never works.
Absolutely not. I want someone that definitely knows how to communicate. I want somebody that not only can you laugh with me, but you can cry with me too. Don't hide the tears. It's okay that we can joke and laugh and have a lot of fun, but when you're hurt, you don't want to hurt around me. I want you to be able to do those things with me.
Right.
I want somebody that I can enjoy, laugh, and grow young with, as they say.
Sure, yeah. And
to play.
Understand we're on the same team.
And that's exactly why I wanted to ask.
Right.
Because I wanted to see how similar and parallel you both are to the same type of
But you want that man
person.
that take care of business.
Yeah.
That handle the business, that, yes, you still, that the household, run the household.
Yeah.
I'm here to, when you fall, I got your back. I don't want you to have my back.
Right.
I need you to also understand that I don't need you. I want you. And that's a difference.
Very well said. Yeah. I mean, you can need certain things,
Sure,
I think.
right.
Like you need companionship and you need love and attention.
You want to compliment each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. One of my good friends once said to me that, a good relationship is almost like part of the human body. One of you is the head, one of you is the neck. You can't turn without the neck. You can't look without the head. And I think that's very true.
And I want us to have the same, close to, may not be exactly the same love language.
Yeah.
I can look at you across the room and read your eyes and know what you're feeling or thinking, or,
You don't have to have the same love language.
Yeah, like, come on over here. I can read you from across the room. Yeah. I see you, girl. That type of thing. Or, I don't want somebody that is standoffish. Sure. I want someone that, can love me the way I need to be loved.
Yeah. I think that's why I never felt like I had heartbreak, because I never found that in the first place.
You never found that.
Yeah.
Same.
It was just never there. So I'm like, how do you miss something you never had?
Okay.
I think my one long-term relationship, if we want to call it that, it was like on and off and on and off and on and off. It wasn't love. It was not. It was lust.
Okay. So it was purely physical.
Purely physical. Yep.
Yeah. And, some people can make that work.
I mean, you got to be good at something.
Well, and if you're going to pick a something,
might
as well be that.
Hello.
But, no. We made her uncomfortable.
I mean, she does it all the time.
You know, I got to go more for than just the physical. I like
But
that.
you have to admit that that's something you at least in a little sense have to look for, right?
You want to be attracted, you know, sexually to your partner. You do.
Sure.
You know, yeah, but I don't feel like that's the main thing, the most important part of relationship
But
to me.
what happens if you end up finding somebody who is
Sucks in bed?
no,
Yeah.
at least up front seems to have everything you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you find out, not really all there. I'm having a good time, but not quite everything I want, but is phenomenal in bed.
You saying, do you settle?
Right.
That has the good in bed, but not everything that I'm looking for.
They're about 85% of what you're looking
because
for.
that's not that important to me. What you're doing, no. Because guess what?
Okay.
You're gonna get old too, and guess what?
Yeah.
What you gonna do when you can't do nothing?
Well,
more?
exactly.
What's gonna happen now? I got to deal with all the other crap that I dealt with that's not making me happy.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been there, done that.
I don't believe that God is going to bring me anyone that I have to settle for.
Mm-mm.
I think that, I mean, everybody has their shortcomings. Everybody has their faults, myself included. And so, yeah, like we can work and build each other up if that's the case. But I guess it just depends on where they're falling short, like what it is that they're falling short on. If it's like, oh, you have everything, but you don't believe in God, you're not the person for me.
Okay. So the belief in God is your big number one.
Oh, that's number one.
Yeah. And then what would be probably your biggest number two?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
Like if someone...
You gotta be able to have fun. Yeah.
But see, well, yeah, okay. I can see that. Never mind. I was going to say something totally different, but you made your point.
I mean, because if you got to
that.
look at it, if you have a man that's not God-fearing and don't believe in God, I feel like, you know, that's all day long straddling the fence. That's all day long. You know, you can do this, you can do that. You know, God has to be your head.
Mm-hmm. And it's almost like if they don't have that belief that they're trying to hide something.
Eventually it'll be that.
And,
Eventually you may end up being that womanizer. You may be that liar. You may be that, you know, because you don't believe in God. You're not God-fearing. You know, ain't nothing going to happen to me. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with my granny not too long ago and just expressing, I didn't get to where I'm at on my own. Like it is the prayers of my granny, I believe, and of my mom and of my grandma that really saw me through a lot of things in life. And so I need to know from my partner, can you also go to God for me the way that the people that I cherish the most have done my entire life?
Right.
Can we do that for each other?
Right.
And if that's not there, I don't know what to say.
And there should be no even hesitation.
I'm not there.
Yeah. They should be with absolutely yes, not even a second thought.
And you want someone that you can grow, you know, spiritually with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that is willing to go to church, is willing to, you know, do the spiritual things that are supposed to be done in a relationship.
And if I'm being honest, that's the thing that I cherish the most in my friendships.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
My friends pray for me first and foremost, and I do the same for them. And we have fun together. Mm-hmm. Simple as that.
What if it's a different religion?
To each his own, but not for me.
So even though they're still, you know, God-fearing, it's a different God in their mind. Not going to work?
If it's a different God?
I only believe in one God. And now I will
not saying that it's, let's just Jewish.
It's different practices.
Right.
It's different traditions.
But they still obviously have a religious belief.
But for me,
you need one that lines up with yours.
Yeah, the way that I want my household to run, we're going to go to the church that I want us to go to. Like there has to be some alignment there.
Yeah, because
I don't want my kids to be like, oh, well, mom's Christian and dad's Catholic, or you know, mom's Christian and dad is Muslim. Like, and so they have these different traditions, and then they're trying to figure out, well, what do I want to do? Where do I go? And it's like
when you have children,
kind of trying to choose loyalty to one side or the other.
And that's what my brother and his wife do, because she is Jewish and my brother he's actually really not religious at all, but they do celebrate, you know, Hanukkah and Christmas, and they do this and they do this. So there's two sides of the thing, and it gets very confusing.
It's a lot.
It can be a lot. Yeah.
You have to think about that, especially if you want to have a family, especially if you want to bring kids into this. How is this going to affect my children as we continue to grow as a family?
Yeah.
So that does make a big difference.
Yeah, I can see
religions. That. Oh, wow. That was interesting.
Right?
That was interesting. Okay. Did we answer your question?
You got to give them the mic a little more.
Did you answer?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I definitely. That's why.
What are you looking for?
Breathing.
Air.
Breathing, walking. Employment. I'm not picky anymore. Honestly, I'm at that point in my life right now where that would actually be a relationship would be more complicated than beneficial. I think for me, because I firmly believe that I've got to get myself centered and where I want to be, at least partially.
What if a partner can help you get centered?
I'm open to it, but I've yet to find that where someone comes into the picture and contributes more than takes. I've had a lot of, look what Mike can do for me.
I've spoken on the givers and takers.
Yeah.
And that's where I say I want you, but I don't need you.
Yes.
Like I'm good if I stand alone. I got me, but I would love to have a companion also, so that we can build each other up even more.
And you're right, to build together.
Yeah, exactly.
To build together.
Oh, dare to dream. One day.
I wish that y'all could see Mike's face.
I don't know. I was painting today. I'm always dirty when you guys come. That's why I don't put a camera on me, because I look nasty.
Oh, my goodness.
Y'all look pretty and all made up, and I look like I just walked off a garbage truck.
All right. Well, at least you're not leaning like.
See, she didn't argue. She didn't lie and didn't say, well, no, that's not true. She's like, nope, you look like crap.
I don't agree. But
well, thanks.
I would like to say at least you don't look like the lady by the garbage can.
Yeah, well, that was kind of scary.
Yeah. That was a little yikes.
Okay, well, we got that out the way. Heartbreak, and you heard about my first heartbreak. Okay, well, new, exciting, and forever. You've never experienced these feelings before, but then people change for whatever reason. So when it ends, the pain feels overwhelming, like something inside has broken, loss of innocence, rejection, and betrayal. Maybe you're listening right now and life feels heavy. You've made mistakes. You've messed up. You've been hurt. You've hurt others. Maybe you feel like you've gone too far. Or just too tired to care. But hear me on this. God is still here, not just when you got it all together, but in the middle of your mess. He hasn't left you or given up on you. He sees you. He loves you. He wants to help. Jesus didn't come for perfect people. He came for broken, the hurting, the ones who think they're not enough. So wherever you are, wherever you're at, don't run away. Run to him. Have that conversation with him, even if you don't know what to say. Just be real. That's all he ever wanted. Continue to love, have faith, and believe in your dreams. God can do all things. Just ask for a little help. Peace. Welcome to a little... Okay, ready?
Take two.
I'll keep that in there as a blooper.
Okay.